Today we're tasting dry aged beef from 10 all the way up to 100 days old.
We're going to find out when it gets good and when it goes too far.
We're going to be rating these on taste, texture and bang for your buck. First we have this beautifully not aged ribeye beef.
What is dry aging, I hear you ask? Dry aging is just a controlled environment that basically leads and helps moisture loss, which enhances flavour, breaking the meat down, which helps with tenderness.
Right.
If this came in from our supplier, we would send it straight back. We'd say,
We're going to be cutting all of our steaks off the bone from the ribeye to get a nice fair test. Very open, coarse, flabby texture.
so we're going to sear these off exactly the same each time. No butter, no aromats, because we want the flavour of the steak to do the talking. Pretty grey, pretty patchy, just not very exciting, you know? We went to Thomas Joseph Buttery in Essex and we found some really good quality meat. Oh wow.
In age order,
Yeah.
20, 30 odd, 45, 60, and then your 100. Yeah, I do think anything underneath 30 is noticeable, it's not that tender.
The point in taking it is you get better flavour and you get better tenderness.
Yeah.
But then taking it to 100 days, you're basically unlocking loads of different flavour compounds. He just has a rotation, which allows him to dry age lots of meat. Put that bad boy down to rest. Big slab of disappointment, that look, chef.
I don't know, it looks very French.
French is famous for shit beef.
They don't age their beef. French supermarket.
It does look quite wet still, the interior. Garbage. It's almost like biting down on a sponge. Flavour's okay. It tastes
Okay, yeah.
little bit livery almost. Like texture's got to be a 2. Flavour 4.5. Texture 2. Hot garbage. 6.5 out of 20. Okay, so next up is 20 days. You can see the imprint of your finger in the meat.
Yeah, it's quite flabby, it feels a bit weird, the colour's red, it's very soft to the touch, you almost feel like you could dissolve it with your finger. You know, it's getting there. It's got the potential to be something really special, but it's just not quite there yet. It feels a bit looser almost is the best way to describe it. Paddy, right?
Steak goes in, and I'm expecting to see a lot of steam and a lot of moisture coming off the meat as it cooks. Put that into rest now.
First impressions, chef? It looks kind of cool. Like, it looks normal, like, it's got a lovely flavour, it just tastes a bit like a cheap steak.
Tastes like a pub steak. Like I'm a harvester. 5 for texture, 6 for flavour.
Yeah, flavour's not bad. You know, if you covered it in sauce, gave it a bit of béarnaise, you know, you wouldn't be more noticeable, but, you know, the steak itself, pretty average. Overall, 11.
This is 30 odd days and looking really, really nice. Yeah, that's how it should look, you know? If you had a textbook and you said what should aging be, I'd like to think that's what it should look like, you know?
So that outside that we're talking about, that is
Wait, nerd alert.
that is the pellicle. So the pellicle is formed around this beautiful bit of meat over time as it ages. You're probably wondering, how is this meat even safe to eat? Surely this beef is full of bacteria, right?
The bacteria are self-limiting once they set on the outside. So the idea of the environment is once you get that crust, it's very, very hard for it to, in essence, go off because the bacteria is stuck. I mean, there's people who've done the steaks for like 7 years, right? I think it's really ridiculous. It is a gamble in terms of selling it because ultimately there's so much waste with it. So over the course of 30 days, you're going to lose 10% to 15% in moisture loss, so total weight.
The reason that the tenderness improves with time is due to something called a calpain, which is an enzyme which breaks meat down. The theory is, or the science says, that after 28 days, those calpains die or don't become as effective. This is what we're really interested to find out. This, for everyone, is the industry standard.
Paddy, right?
Oh, I'm not going to do that every steak, are we?
Yeah, like, it looks lovely. It's all lovely and dry aged. You know, you've got a little bit of moisture here, sort of around the top of the fat, but it looks well aged. You know, you wouldn't cook that out of bed for a wet fart. You know, it looks lovely.
What the fuck does that even mean? Yeah, in theory, the cooking time will be a little bit less because there's not as much water in there, so you'll be able to get a crust quicker. So it should reduce the cooking time slightly.
The flavour is similar to the last one, but it's a little bit more tender. It's what you'd expect in a decent restaurant.
Yeah.
Not the best steak of your life, but it's what you'd expect.
I think the texture's a little bit better. We've got to put it up to a 6 on flavour.
It's flirting with the mouth, but you know, it's not full on.
6 on flavour. What do you want on texture? 7 or 6? 6.5.
12.5 out of 20.
I would say around 40, 45 days is about, you know, the sweet spot. You know, if you get your thumb, nice clean hands, that's obviously going in. Here, it's still going in, but you've got a dark crust.
Yeah.
So you still got quite a bit of moisture in there. And now when you get to 40, you can see now it's not really going anywhere. At this point, it's almost like leather.
40 days, 45-day aged is what you often see on menus. It's a very premium steak option. So I think we're in for a real treat. Important to note, this is what we ask our butcher to do, and this is what we're working towards as a business. So 40 days.
Paddy right.
Every time.
So you actually have to trim off quite a lot more meat to actually get to usable steak. Like you can see that end bark bit.
If you squeeze that or push it in, nothing basically happens. Interestingly enough as well, you can see more fat in the steak. The fat actually doesn't lose moisture, it's the meat that loses moisture.
Yabba!
Interestingly, not a huge like plume of steam coming off there like the other steaks, and the pan's just as hot. I mean, look at the state of this sear that we've got. Absolutely unbelievable crust on the 40-dayer.
Oh, money!
That is money. The flavour's really good. It's definitely not cheesy yet. Like, and this is why he was saying it shouldn't be cheesy. But
I love cheese.
what's super interesting is we would expect 40 days not to be much more tender than the other one, but you can definitely see that it is still getting tender.
It's a different type of tender. It has less of a give to it.
Yeah, it is interesting.
So I think some people would prefer that. I think 6 on taste, yeah.
Not getting much age, still about the same mark. Texture-wise though, I think
We're definitely getting better.
we can afford a little upgrade.
7.
Combined, lucky number 13.
The best bit about this room is when you walk in
Yeah.
and it doesn't smell of anything bad. It
smells
smells
rich.
exactly what it should smell.
Yeah.
You know, because as I said, we've got these fans custom fitted into the sides, dehumidifier in the corner. The aging environment being the most important thing is you can see now, even though it's been here 100 days, there isn't any mold on it. You know, the mold will be, if you can see it, eventually
these little
starting to go
cracks
through
and
there.
curves, yeah.
Exactly.
So as you pull that back, we've almost got this sort of, it's quite dark mold, to be honest. Like most people would say that's not really okay to eat and cut it out, but it's safe to eat. There's nothing really wrong with it. If it goes green or a different color, then it's not good to eat. Black mold typically is not a good mold. White mold typically is. It's definitely holding its shape more than the other one. You know, if you pull this back, got a light, tiny little bit of mold in there as well. Obviously going to give it a big funk all the way through. That has seared incredibly quickly. This should be the realm where we're starting to feel and taste a bit of cheese.
Give me some cheesy steak.
Give the man some cheese.
All right, babe. What is going to happen next? Stay tuned. Let's carve him up. You would like to think potentially this middle of the range could be the dark horse for a favourite. Looks good. The meat looks really nicely together.
That texture is very like, it's quite hard to explain. It's almost gone from eating like that satisfying chew to a bit more like jelly-like. Do you think that it's meant to not be getting more tender? It still seems to be getting more tender.
I would say it was more tender.
Texture's going to an 8. The texture is very delicious.
Do you think I preferred the one before?
Yeah, I think it's the same.
6 for flavour. Final score of 14.
Have you got your cheese, chef?
Don't know, we'll soon find out.
Whoa, it smells like boursin.
It looks similar to the other ones, potentially a bit firmer, I would say. And obviously the biggest characteristic on this one is that we've got that appearance of the mould.
Now what you're typically going to start to smell, rather than that typical meat smell, dry aged meat smell, is a cheese, maybe like an earthy truffle, something like that. But to be honest, the texture of the meat looks very different on this one.
But now we're having to take off, more verging on.
It's almost like a steak that you have to take off there.
Pretty much, yes. You can see, you can almost like prise it apart with your fingers.
In theory then, it should be a lot more tender. I mean, it looks like it's going to be more tender. Right, so this one has coloured up absolutely beautifully.
You heard it from the horse's mouth. 60 day, I've got a feeling it's going to be the one to beat.
For me, this has probably got the best colour that we've tried so far. So I'm not sure if that's my incredible skill or the actual meat quality, but
Well, considering you have 0 skill, I'd probably go with the latter. The ends are almost, you can't really judge them on it. You can see that dark bit around the chain, but the middle bits look legendary.
the texture is even better and the flavour is next
Very
level.
good. Slight more cheesiness could make to even take it up another level, but it's very good. But definitely the best we've tried so far.
Texture's a 9.
9 texture. 8.5 flavour.
Overall score for the 60-day age, it's going to be a 17.5. So important to know, we're not actually getting into this realm of like stinky Stilton blue cheese yet. Still quite mild at 70-day age.
To be honest.
Bullywhack!
Cool, so first impressions, worth note that chain looks very, very dark. I expect that to caramelise super quick. and almost, to be honest, be a little bit inedible.
By the chain, we're talking about this bit at the bottom. And to be honest, even the smell is very different when it hits the pan.
70-day aged steak is in the pan. Let's have a look at that sear. That, my friends, is what we call the money shot.
More of a degree of muscle separation on this one than the others. So, a bit more gentle with it when you're searing it. 70 days, chef, 70 days. For me, the texture has not improved anywhere.
Is it better?
The flavour is definitely better on that bit.
Full of flavour. The fat is aged. It also almost has like a funk to the fat.
It's a 9 on texture.
And the flavour, 9. 9 and 9.
9 and 9. 18 for the 70. Woo!
This one, actually, I'm actually fucking pumped to try this, man.
This is why we get into this stuff.
Yeah, man. Paddy White. That's a big one, that.
That's a big boy.
You know, looks nice and firm. Feels solid. Here we go. The 80-day steak is in the pan.
Ready for this? Into rest.
Okay, 80 days aged steak here. Bit more muscle separation. Just feels drier and drier around the edges, but let's carve them up. That old chestnut.
Definitely the most unique steak I've tasted.
Yeah.
Very sort of like...
It feels like it's been treated in a different way. It's almost like it's been like marinated and sous vide or something like that. It's like, almost feels like it's been impacted with something else to add to that flavour.
Yeah, I would say that the tenderness is the same, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Flavour for me,
It's a unique flavour, but I would say arguably not as nice.
I would say it's taken a 0.5 back.
So maybe 9 and 8 point,
8.5.
maybe 8.
8, yeah.
9 and 8.
9 and 8, whoa! It's making me a bit nervous about what the actual 100 one's going to taste.
Well, I really want the 100 to win,
Yeah.
but we're going to go out with an open mind. So we're now down to our penultimate ribeye. Got all the characteristics of all the other ones we've done and more. Once you almost crack the seal on the beef, that you really get, the smell starts to come out.
We went from like almost like sweet, mushroomy, truffly in the 60s, and now that's kind of just tipped over the edge. It's a little bit sour, very strong in odour. To be honest, the meat doesn't look wildly different, but the smell and the feel to the meat does. Be interesting to see if this like muscle separation translates into the flavour. Smells like a cheese shop, cheesemonger. If I put this on the menu, I know I'd get at least 20%, 30% complaints about the flavour. Interesting texture point. You can see every line
It's like an accordion.
of fibre.
Don't do that, that's over the top.
Okay. I'm going to say it. The texture's even better. I don't know how it's happened. It's debunking science.
It's good.
That is an excellent texture.
It's losing.
It's losing that gelatinous texture. Tangy, fausty, cheesy, but bloody delicious. Texture-wise, it's gone up a notch. It's a 9.5. 9.5!
I don't think the flavour is any, it's different, but not necessarily better.
Flavour 8.25, 17.75, just below the 70 dry age mark.
Now we're entering the realms of 100-day aged Angus beef. Would you take a look at this beauty? Fat looks incredible, smells funky. I don't think I've ever seen anything like this before. This is pretty crazy. What's the first impressions then, chef?
It looks a bit like a fossil.
Oh God, lick that, it tastes amazing.
Did you just lick it?
Some people love it and some people can't stand it. I'm definitely towards I prefer it a little bit less aged.
What you should see, obviously, is that the texture should improve. The flavour will be different. It can't be the same. You know, you're going to have something that is closer towards the ulterior characteristics than 30 days. What's better is so, it's susceptible to what someone personally likes.
Yes. Well, we'll find out. That does look like a pleasure to prep, I have to say. It's got that sourness that you would come to expect with these really dry aged steaks. These really rich umami compounds and flavour notes that we're talking about is all about a process called proteolysis, which is basically where enzymes break the meat down, continue to break the meat down, and produce amino acids. Now, it doesn't actually affect the tenderness, but that cheesiness comes through this process.
Paddy White.
Chef.
For final hurrah. So I'd say the fat looks darker. The meat is definitely considerably darker. Almost, I mean, it is a shade of brown rather than red almost, isn't it?
Yeah. So interesting smell coming off this one. Definitely the most punchy in terms of smell. It's actually probably, I'd say the fat is the most golden out of all the steaks. There's not as much moisture in there, so that heat is going to travel through a lot quicker. We are getting intense flavours, forest floor, truffle, Stilton, Colston Bassett, engine oil, the works.
It looks full of flavour, but...
Is there a thing as too much flavour? That's what I'm asking you. Oh, it's very blush, isn't it? That looks pretty sexy. Significant fibre separation. The texture is absolutely delicious. It's very, very, very intense. Again, I think I'm going to use your mantra of the last one. It's not necessarily better than the steak before, but it is different. World exclusive. I fundamentally believe after doing this video that the texture does improve past the 20-day optimization. 70 is absolutely perfect, 65 is perfect. We're giving this a 9.5 on texture.
From 70 to 100, the flavour changes, not necessarily in getting better, but different.
Not as good as a 90. To be honest, I even would probably lean closer towards a 70 and an 80. I'm going to give it an 8.25 again, because I don't want to score it down. It is very interesting.
8.25 seems a fair score. I understand your reasoning. It sounds very good. I think we'll agree to settle with an 8.25 final score.
So final score for the 100-day age, 17.75.
I think we've concluded nice, good restaurant quality steaks, 30 to 50, 10, 20, not worth the money. Definitely there's a reason why people don't do it. 80 to 100, very, 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 very good steaks, but potentially not worth the effort.
If you want to see us try every breed of beef to see if Wagyu is the best, click here.
Fuck's sake.